This album is named after a California law term for a mentally disturbed person. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the vlog. Recently, a friend of mine on Facebook nominated me to post my top 10 favorite albums. I figured it was the perfect time to shoot a video. So without further ado, let's get to the list. Up for the 10th spot on our list is As I Lay Dying and their 2005 record, Shadows Are Security. I remember listening to Confined all the time when it came out on Much Loud. This was one of the very first metal albums where I started actually learning the guitar parts. They weren't too complicated and they were available at the time. What sold me on them was the clean singing. Everything I was listening to up until then was purely screaming. It was a nice breath of fresh air. And of course, this album was mixed and mastered by the amazing Andy Sneap, so, how could you really go wrong? Coming in at number 9 on our list is Story of the Year and their 2008 album, The Black Swan. I have very fond memories of this album. In grade 11, I had to take summer school. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to get to grade 12 academic English. I needed this bridge course. 5 days a week, I would ride my bike to and from summer school. And guess what was playing on my iPod? This album. I don't know if it got me through summer school or just provided me with some cool tunage to and from, but nevertheless, it was a staple in my life for at least a month and a half, even after that. Produced by the amazing John Feldmann, every track on this album is a straight banger. Even the bonus tracks are amazing. Next, at number 8 on our list, is Jellyfish and their 1993 record, Spilt Milk. From San Francisco, this band was groundbreaking for the time. This album came in at number 164 on the Billboard Top 200. They had it all. Beatles-level songwriting, the drummer played a cocktail kit while singing, and the production value was just out of this world. My dad would listen to this band all the time when I was younger. Thankfully, I rediscovered them in my early teens, and I haven't looked back since. If you listen to any album on this list, please listen to this album. Songs like Joining a Fan Club, New Mistake, Bye Bye Bye, and Ghost at number 1 are just way too good to be completely forgotten. Coming in at number 7 on our list is Queensryche and their 1990 record, Empire. Mastered by Bob Ludwig, this album is great from beginning to end. The primary single, Silent Lucidity, was even nominated for a Grammy in 1992. The song itself was featured at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100. Everything from Jeff Tate's voice to the guitar work on this album is truly magnificent. I used to love Operation Mindcrime, their previous album, the most. But to be honest, these days, it's not even a competition. Songs like Jet City Woman and One and Only are straight bangers. Up next at number 6 on our list is Josephine Collective and their 2008 album, We Are the Air. Unfortunately, this was the only album the band ever came out with. It was produced by John Feldmann and released under Warner Brother Records. I think I have a thing for John Feldmann. I'm not sure. I like to think of this band as the Jellyfish of the 21st century. They essentially sound like what Jellyfish would sound like if they were still around today. The songwriting isn't as good, but it's definitely up there. Tracks like Pray for Rain, Crack My Heart, and Clementine just get my juices flowing, baby. Coming in at number 5 on our list is Yes and 90125. I'm just gonna put this disclaimer out there, and I apologize if anyone gets offended, but I start listening to Yes at 90125, and I end at Union. Trevor Rabin is my favorite guitar player of all time. I also think he's a fantastic singer, and I love his voice. Owner of a Lonely Heart was the only song to ever reach the Billboard Hot 100 for the band, and the song Cinema won a Grammy for Best Rock Instrumental Performance. In a day where CDs were still around and kicking, this album sold over 3 million records in America alone. If you're looking for a classic prog rock album, this is the one for you. Up next at number 4 on our list is Van Halen and their 1986 record, 5150. I remember listening to the title track Good Enough when I was really young. I was completely sold. This is the first record to feature Sammy Hagar, which made it to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 200. This album is named after a California law enforcement term for a mentally disturbed person. I'm not sure if they were talking about David Lee Roth or not. Songs like Summer Nights with the Steinberger, Love Walks In, and Dreams. Dreams was in Power Rangers. How can you go wrong with that? Next, with number 3 on our list, is Lou Gramm and his 1987 album, Ready or Not. This was Lou's first solo album after he left Foreigner, and man, was it a doozy. It peaked at number 27 on the US Billboard 200. It spawned 2 singles, Midnight Blue and Ready or Not, which peaked at 5 and 54 respectively on the US Billboard Hot 100. Mastered by Ted Jensen, this album holds a special place in my heart, considering it was played throughout my whole childhood. Up next with number 2 on our list is Narrow and their 1994 record, Press Play. This is by far my favorite album that my dad has ever put out, hands down, and I was only 4 years old when this came out. His vocal ability on this album is unmatched, his songwriting skills are just bonkers, and the rest of the musicians are just as good, including Roger Banks, the drummer, who I've had the privilege of working with. Mixed by Harry Hess of Hair and Scarum, there's a total of 19 tracks on this album, which is pretty much unheard of in this day and age. Songs like Looking Out for Number 1, Miracle, and No More Cruel World, I mean, the list just goes on and on. If you want a solid album from front to back, this is the one for you. Alright, the moment you've all been waiting for. Number 1 on our list, Def Leppard and their 1987 album, Hysteria. Def Leppard is by far my favorite band of all time. It took over 3 years to make this album, partly due to Rick Allen losing his arm in a horrific car accident on New Year's Eve. This album spawned 7 hit singles and sold over 25 million albums worldwide. Produced by the always slick Mutt Lange, I fell in love with his productions immediately. I always found myself time and time again going back to Def Leppard. I just can't help myself. Hey everybody, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for way more content. And also, don't forget to ring that notification bell so you know when we post new videos. We will see you next time. Goodbye.